Hi, today we have Shabana and Margaret with us, and we're going to be talking about growth mindset and leadership and why it matters in today's workplaces and how it shapes the future in a VUCA world. Margaret, could you give a small introduction?
Hi, Anusha and Sabana. I'm quite happy to be a part of this podcast to start with, and of course, talk about how it affects leadership. Before that, yes, I have around 20 plus years of experience, especially in the field HR. So I work with the leadership team. In the 20 years, I've worked with various leaders, and at presently, growth mindset is something which is very close to my heart because I do a lot of work around that area. I'm also a coach and a certified trainer uh, and a facilitator. So I have a repertoire of things that I do.
Thank you so much. Shabana, over to you.
Lovely. Thank you so much for the intro, Margaret. Happy to meet you. And hello, Amita. Thank you for this opportunity. And I mean, it's a topic that's very close to my heart. So I'm really happy to be here on the podcast with you guys. However, first things first, I'm Shabana Upnal. I work with TD Cinex. This is a global IT distribution company. I've been with this organization for about 14 years. I'm based here in Mumbai, in India. And my current role at TD Cinex is as the Senior Director for Learning, where my specific focus is on leadership development at this point in time. So to speak, as a product owner for leadership development products that we want to bring out for our global leaders. And
Okay.
overall, I have about 22 years of experience in different industries. This is my longest stay and enjoying the ride.
Thank you so much. So we'll start. Margaret, when you think about growth mindset and leadership, what does it mean to you personally, and how do you apply it in your role?
Okay. For me, how growth mindset in leadership is all about seeing potential, right? So, being a leader usually comes as a position of authority. But how I see it is that a leader with a growth mindset is someone who doesn't need to be the smartest in the room, but who is committed to help others get smarter, right?
Right.
And the behaviors which you usually see and experience in leaders is basically being curious, somebody who's open to feedback and is willing to learn. And usually leaders don't need to have all the answers, but they need to create an environment where their teams feel safe to experiment as well as learn.
Fair
So
enough.
that's how I see leadership, and that's how I believe the coming times, not only now but in future, is how we need to develop organizations and build cultures accordingly.
Okay. So in relation to this, Shavana, in today's workplace, where agility, learning, and adaptability are critical, right? So how do you see growth mindset showing up as a real differentiator?
Yeah. So today's workplaces are marked by constant disruption. I mean, there's no two ways about it, whether it is AI, whether it is digital transformation, or hybrid working, or shifting coworker or employee expectations. All of it is marked by disruption. So in that context, I feel growth mindset has never been more critical,
Right.
right? And it's what enables organizations to stay agile, and it's what really helps leaders to lean in as into the change rather than resist it or defend it, right? And leaders with growth mindset don't see technologies like AI as threats, but they'll see it as something that is an opportunity to reimagine how the work can be done. The approach to shifting employee expectations, they can see it with curiosity rather than being defensive about it. So in today's workplace, I feel growth mindset creates a culture where experimentation and feedback is encouraged.
Right.
Learning from failures is normalized, okay, not questioned. And continuous development for that matter is kind of celebrated. And when leaders model these behaviors, I think it kind of creates for the teams to become more agile and creative in workplaces.
Okay, fair enough. That's very well put. So Margaret, traditionally, organizations have focused on competency frameworks, but now we hear a lot about, shifting to a mindset-driven talent management. So how do you see this evolution, and what does it mean for HR leaders?
Yeah, good question. In fact, talent management per se, in talent management, we focus a lot on competency, and we've always been doing that. It's all about, can the person do the job,
Right,
whether he has the relevant skills, whether he has the relevant knowledge and experience in doing that. And well, in this today's changing world, you specifically asked about how relevant it will be. Of course, that is important because that's how we really see talent, and we need to get the work done today. But it also in keeping in tandem with what we require to do. A person, whether that person, when we talk about a specific talent, do we really assess or maybe help the person to see how well that person can stretch, adapt, and even grow? Because the job would not remain the same. Job will change, and the world is changing fast. And then the fact remains that post COVID, the acceleration has become very fast, right?
right,
You have got hybrid job, you've got remote work, you've got AI, which has come in. The skills which are relevant today might not be relevant in 3 years' time, right? So that's all which is required. So the very crux of it is competencies can be trained, but mindset is what is very hard to shift, right? Because a person who does not grow with the times will plateau.
right, right.
And mindset is what will help that person grow, stretch, take risks, address challenges. And I've seen people who really do not have, the gap, who has a gap in the skills, have put up their hands, have gone ahead and learned on the journey, and have done much, much better than what is expected. So that's the mindset which we really required. It will be more. Today, it seems like a buzzword because I see a lot of companies using it. But going forward, I personally believe it will be more about surviving the change which is coming through every day.
Yeah. Shabana, you said that growth mindset is very close to your heart. But don't you think that mindset is really harder to measure in comparison to skills? So, what challenges have you faced embedding mindset into learning, leadership development, or culture?
Absolutely. I really liked what Margaret said, and I wanted to say something about, for me, competencies are that tell you what you can do today.
Hmm.
But mindset is about how you will grow tomorrow. That's
It's very well
that's for me what mindset really does. And as far as challenges is concerned, absolutely. Right? It's not that easy. It's challenges with embedding mindset is really different because skills are tangible. You can measure. It
put.
shows up, but mindset will show up in behaviors and attitudes, not in checklists. How do we do that? That's why I feel that's why coaching plays or becomes a very powerful tool in kind of enabling mindset building. Okay. And coaching can create safe space for leaders to connect or reflect, unlearn from their fixed patterns, if there were any, and experiment with new approaches. So that's one of the things that we could do. For example, I would like to quote an example here. We recently launched a coaching program for all our people managers globally. And what we did was we tied it to our 7 leadership commitments that we have as an organization. They're called Inspire, Influence, and Impact. And through coaching conversations, these leaders now can practice behaviors like listening deeply, empowering others, or making courageous decisions as well. So,
Right.
this not only reinforces the growth mindset for them, but also makes it real and actionable in their day to day leadership interactions that they have. Right.
Right.
So, that's the kind. So, while measurement is a challenge in terms of determining and measuring the change with mindsets, I feel coaching as a tool can bridge that gap by making kind of mindset visible through lived behaviors. And that's what probably we should encourage more.
Right. I mean, fair enough. So just this question is open to both of you. Could you share like a personal leadership experience where a growth mindset either changed the outcome or where the absence of it created challenges?
Yeah, yeah. So in this 20 years of experience, we have seen a lot of cases, right? I would not give a specific case, but maybe generally around. I've seen many cases where two people joining together have joined in a similar role, but one kind of grew to an extent, but others really had a very steep trajectory of growth. And what is the difference, which really is a question that all of us needs to answer, right? There could be one who has reached a space which is quite a comfort place for him or her and has not stretched beyond, has not, uh, maybe for fear of failure, maybe for multiple other things. And the other person who's really grown has gone ahead and tested the water, challenged himself, learn, grow. So there's a whole process of learning, unlearning, unlearning, learning, and then there's a whole cycle that we kind of know. And growth requires stretching, getting into uncomfortable zones. There's a space of, stretch.
Stretch.
That's where, and the stretch zone is also called as stress zone, right? So when you stretch, you also get stress. What is the optimum level of stress that you can take to
Hmm.
really grow? Too much of stress will again is not something that all of us will, be productive.
Want to,
But
yeah.
that optimum level of stress is what we all need to get into. And again, in the case, in these two the true associates that we have seen, one of them really put himself out there to stretch in that zone and grow forward. And as the leadership up there also sees these kind of behaviors, right? And that's how these behaviors gets recognized, and the chances and the risks that the person takes is again something that enables that person to go ahead and grow in that zone.
Right. Okay. I mean, I like how you coined, optimum stress levels are productive. I think that resonates. So Shabana, I would like to. We live in a VUCA world, right? It's like volatile, uncertain. How does a growth mindset, equip leaders to handle uncertainty and you lead resilient organizations with that?
So in the VUCA world that you're operating in, I don't think leaders are defined by having people who have all the answers. That's not how things operate in this world.
Hmm.
So the real differentiator, according to me, is ability to ask better questions, create clarity where there is ambiguity for the team, and to enable the team to navigate complexity with confidence. And organizations and leaders within who are able to bring this out, you know, will be able to kind of manage better in this environment as well. So we spoke about examples of where having a growth mindset and not having a growth mindset can have an impact. I think one of the biggest example out there in the world that we is Kodak. It was one of the biggest
Yeah.
companies in print sector ever.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it. Nobody said photos. Everybody said Kodak, right?
Right. Right. Right.
What happened with the advent of phones? Kodak has completely erased from. So if growth mindset is not there, if they don't adapt, don't kind of question their fixed mindsets and learn from mistakes or experiences and don't move forward, that's what happens. One other big example is COVID. I mean, COVID pushed us, pushed us into a time that nobody, no organization was prepared for, right? So organizations that really embrace that crisis with adaptability and empathy. The two growth mindsets that hold organizations together were able to thrive through that period by providing the support. There were many who couldn't do that and struggled for years even afterwards, right? So similar examples, I think, when in a VUCA world, I think from my experience, servant leadership is the play, okay, which is grounded in trust, inclusion, and enabling people to succeed. So this is not just relevant in today's time, but it's also, I feel, one of the most powerful and sustainable responses to today's volatility. And that's something that we need to adapt. It can be in different ways. People can do it in different ways. Some people really call that out, build that into their culture by introducing it as values and behaviors that we want to do. But that's really something is what I feel is could be the difference maker in the VUCA world that we operate in.
That's very well put. I want both of you to answer this. Margaret, I think you can take this first. If you had one piece of advice for future leaders at this point in time, what would it be?
Uh, well, how I see the job workplace evolving, the leaders, you see, leaders need to wake up to the fact that the coming times are not going to be fixed, right? Be it career. So we are not, let's talk in this realm of careers, right? There's going to be no fixed careers. It's going to be fluid. It's going to be dynamic. In fact, with all this automation which is coming in, which I referred to earlier, right? It's going to reshape roles. And when we talk about reshaping world and as well as reshaping roles, it's not going to be stagnant. But the leaders would also have to realize that the human edge and what we bring to the table is our ability to adapt, to
Right.
empathize, and also the fact that only curiosity is what will bring innovation to the table. And to be innovative, you also need to provide an environment which is safe, right? You need to provide a space where people can take risks, people can go ahead and be curious, take on and reinvent themselves. And when they reinvent themselves, that's the time when they will stretch and innovate. And innovation is a way to go because in this VUCA world, as rightly Sabana said, things are going to change. Yeah? Things are going to be more fluid. And only the ability to change and the ability to adapt is what will make an organization move forward and grow. And that's the message that leaders need to imbibe, not only for themselves, but also make sure that they imbibe it in the culture of
Right.
the organization.
And Shabana?
Very well put, Margaret. Thank you for sharing that. I think for me, in the new world, as we are progressing, right, as AI and technology are taking over transactional tasks, what really distinguishes leaders is their ability to connect,
Right.
to really create inspiration and create meaning for the teams that they do. So I think from a talent perspective, the shift is from managing competencies to really nurturing mindsets of people, pushing them towards becoming a higher performance organization or really innovative and creative in how they want to come in. So it's about honing their potential and creating a holistic growth environment for them. And so I feel leaders' role is not only in shaping others, but also continuously learning themselves by becoming both students and teachers of change. And that's how I would define the role of a leader in the future.
Thank you both for sharing such valuable insights. I mean, what I've understood today is what's clear is that in today's ever-changing world, skills and knowledge will keep evolving. But I think it's the mindset that truly defines how leaders navigate uncertainty and inspire people and create impact, more importantly. And with that, we close today's conversation. And I hope everybody has been inspired to lead with curiosity. I mean, I definitely am. I love the insights from both of you, and I think you've created a thought to start pondering upon, and I love that. And I'm planning now to lead with the adaptability and resilience. So thank you for that, and thank you for making the time. I'll close this now.
Thank you. Thank you, Anusha.
Thanks,
Thank you,
thanks,
Margaret.
Anusha.